Be most effective when we are engaged in the political process, and there's no time like the present. One of our main goals is effective advocacy through active participation from you. Those who stand for nothing will fall for anything. Our efforts to keep you engaged and informed as to the importance of current events happening locally and abroad started 2 years ago. Our number one goal is to make a difference. We need you. Join us at the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. Catch us at www.thesmokingglasshour.com.
Hey Mo. Yes, Mom? I think younger kids need to know the value of sacrifice.
Yes, I agree. There is one place they can learn about sacrifice. If they tune in on WMAD and the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass on Monday night, they can learn. It's informative with current topics. And by the way, the show is hot.
The show is smoking hot.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass. We are honored to have you as a guest tonight and want to thank each of you for your faithful support. Without further delay, allow me to introduce to you Mr. Baron Glass. Mr. Glass, take it away.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass on Thursday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Tonight we will have another case of Glassology 101 with A.F. Riggins, pastor, senior founder pastor, Real Life Church out of Houston, Texas. Tonight's topic will be Donald Trump is a fraud. We're going to talk about Trump University. We're going to talk about Trump and the veteran scam. We're going to talk about the North Korean dictator endorsement. And the question that we have, as always, is are we headed toward the book of Revelations? We want to ask you to say no to Trump. Tonight we will also be joined by Mr. Dave Lamont from Screens from the Center, who will be providing some very valuable information. Miss Nikki Bedrick from Las Vegas, Nevada. Mr. Aaron Hopkins from Dallas, Texas. And perhaps maybe Miss Vanessa Ghazi. I know we'll be joined by Deb from Missouri. Hello, Belinda, and everybody else that's out there listening, who we, I'm getting kind of a little tired-tongued because it's been a long day, been a very long day, but nevertheless, let me just make sure everybody understand. We, all of us, and I can speak for them, all of us feel that it is very important that you know as much information and you know who Donald Trump is before you actually vote him in and give him the code to the nuclear bomb. See, this guy is not only dangerous, he's catastrophic. He's deadly, not only to himself, but to others. I was just speaking to a guy earlier, and I told him this. Donald is not the problem. The problem is all of those who support him, because long after he's gone, win or lose, those people will still exist. Tonight, once again, we're going to be joined by Pastor A.F. Riggins with our segment of Glassology 101, along with Mr. Dave Lamont, Nikki Bedrick, Aaron Hopkins, and Deb from Missouri, along with Vanessa Gossi. Pastor A.F. Riggins, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, Barry. Thank you for having me on tonight, and thank you for letting me being involved in this discussion. It's kind of out of, I guess you talking to me the other day about the show for this evening, and you kind of let me know that every day I keep bringing on Trump, and I'm on a mission because I'm really nervous about the fact that if Trump becomes president of the United States, we don't understand it's not just a changing of the guard, maybe like from the Democratic to Republican, or maybe someone who's kind of maybe goofy and silly versus someone who's serious like President Barack Obama. We're talking about the change of America. If Trump becomes president of the United States, I believe, and I've been prophetically saying this as a pastor and then as a historian and a citizen, I've been concerned that if we just are quiet and let it happen and do not fight with everything within our might to stop this, that we're going to be on dangerous ground in November 2016, the day after the election. And going forward for the day of the day before we even have the inauguration, we'll be bankrupt. And by the time he's inaugurated, we'll probably be looking at going to war and so forth. That's what I believe.
Okay.
So tonight, we want to talk about. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Now, what I was going to do, Pastor, before you start, let me say good afternoon to Dave Lamont. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing fine. How you doing, Nikki?
Doing fine, Baron.
Okay, I know Aaron Hopkins is out there in traffic on I-35, but he'll be joining us. Pastor Riggins, it is now in your hands.
Thank you, Baron. I apologize to the other callers. I didn't know that I was just supposed to say hello. It did start talking. Yes. The first one I want to talk about is Trump University. What I don't like about this is that the media has been sitting on a lot of this stuff for months. But what they did was they ran for the ratings instead of for the truth. And they tried to lay it in the hands of the Republicans, the other 16 candidates running the Republican side, try to bring Trump down. But see, Trump was not playing the game of running for president. He was playing the game of a reality show. And those guys were not ready for that. They were all, inside of their own little lanes, thinking they got to do the data polls and what the internal poll says and what is it going for running for president of the United States. And meanwhile, Trump was chopping them down using the tactics he was using while the media sat on the truth of all this stuff they were about to bring out tonight. Because their ratings were rising because, people watching the debate, long as Trump was having debates. When Trump stopped having debating, they stopped debating. As long as Trump was calling in, they're making money, so they're sitting on this stuff. But here's the deal. Trump University was founded in 2005. 9,000 people paid for real estate seminar before it folded in 2010. The first open up it still was free. And then it said people that needed to pay $1,500 a month. And then some folks ended up $1,500 for the whole program. And then finally, by the time it folded, they had people paying about $35,000 to get a degree from Trump University. So that's the first thing. They started with a sliding scale of 0 to 1,500 to all of 55,000. 9,000 people paid for real estate seminar before it folded. Students in San Diego and New York sued Trump, claiming they paid thousands for nothing. People in New York and New York state attorney general made the case today on TV about it was a whole system for total fraud. You were not a real degree, it was not an accredited university. Everything it was teaching you was something that was not related to how you can be successful. Putting money in the hands of Trump, all those working for Trump. And a lot of the folks that are in the lawsuit now that's on the side of the plaintiffs even work for Trump and have testified in court it was a fraud. There's a lot of background noise, Mr. Glass. I don't know where it's coming from.
Pastor, I can't hear no noise.
Yeah, I'm hearing all kind of noise. I don't know what it is.
Okay, if we have to mute the lines, we'll. Okay, I'm sorry, but I can't hear it from nowhere. What we'll do is we're going to mute everybody's line except Nikki and Dave and Pastor Riggins. Go ahead.
Okay. Trump has called lawsuits a small deal. He said that most students said the courses were terrific. In other words, you know how he gets out there and starts talking and saying, "Oh, I don't know what they're talking about." Everybody said it was terrific. You know, he uses all these grandiose words. And what I love about it, like Mr. Glasser said about the fact that it's the followers we got to worry about. A lot of followers of Trump are folk who are like gawking at what they could be and what they want to be. Trump comes into a rally. He has a big old plane sitting up on that tarmac. He comes out that plane and everything, Trump on the side of it, and folk who never had anything, never gonna hardly have anything, all screaming out and Trump, Trump, Trump. And so with all these other big words like it's no big deal. Everybody thought it was terrific, and I'm great. Come on, am I great? That university was great, and people buying into that stuff. Number one. Number four, the presidential front runner said that his Hispanic judge has tremendous hostility toward him. This man named Judge Gonzalo Curio is from Indiana. If you look at a picture of him, he looks like Anglo. But because by his name, Trump is saying that he's I think the line is infiltrated by someone. They're making all this noise into the line, and I don't think he's even one of the callers.
Okay, well, Pastor, all lines are muted except your line, Nikki, Dave, and myself. So I'm not real sure where it's coming from. Are you using headphones?
Yeah, I'm using headphones. Yeah.
Okay, can you kind of move them around a little, Pastor? Because that may be where the feedback is at. Because everything else is as usual.
I took the headphones off.
Okay. Do we have anybody out there on speakerphone? Dave or Nikki, are you on speakerphone?
I think that works, Pastor. No noise now.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, all right.
I also mute my
okay.
So.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I don't know what it was, but
it was you, Pastor Dave. You can unmute.
Okay. All right. Okay then. I was standing in one place.
Go ahead.
Hey, so now we know. Yeah, right. So this judge is called Judge Gonzalo Curio, and he has been called a Mexican judge, and this is racist at the highest. I mean, I don't even know how this kind of language you used back in 1955, 1960. I mean, I don't even know even how he's this coming out of his mouth. But he sits in front of the crowd and tells us. And then Rubio and Cruz, they tried to attack Trump in the last Republican debate about this. And we noticed he never debated after that. That's why Trump never went back to a debate after that, because he says if we keep digging up on this situation about the Trump University, I won't get the nomination. Now that he's got the nomination, the noise is still coming, but it's okay. It's not that he's near here or there. So someone line is doing it.
Pastor Riggins, hold on. Let me make sure, because I can't hear it on mine. Let me make sure the engineer. Let me see if she can actually hear the noise, because the only lines that are open once again are yours. If Dave muted and it stopped, then it may be Dave's line.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Pastor.
Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that if Trump is willing to go become president of the United States, and the trial starts in November 28th, we could be looking at the elected president of the United States in a fraud case. This is dangerous ground for us to be into, in which impeachment could be in order before he even get inaugurated. That's the first order of business. Second order of business is he's involved with 3,500 lawsuits over the last 30 years. 70 lawsuits since he became running for president of the United States. 1,900 against him, 1,600 he's taken against other people. In other words, anytime Trump doesn't like something, he files a lawsuit. Which means that even if he loses this election, he may try to file a lawsuit about the election. This man is a fraud. I mean, I can't even, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but we got to be passionate enough that when we have this revival, as I want to call it, and Dave, excuse me, because I want to talk about church, we have this revival every time we leave and go out to the streets and highways and byways and compel people that Trump must not become president of the United States of America. And that's my open remark.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else may want to say.
Okay, yeah, Pastor, let me bring Nikki and Dave in. Dave Lamont, if you can, I'm going to give you a minute to come off of mute, and I'm going to let you go ahead on and address, then I'll go to Nikki and let her address this Trump University issue according to your viewpoint.
Certainly. I can't really find anything that I would disagree, or there's not really much I could add to it. We've got an organization that's ran for only 5 years, and right from the get-go, it's had complaints constantly. And, it's a non-accredited university. He said, the first case. I mean, I think of this like a drug. It's very similar to that. The first taste is free, so to speak, and then they get you on that. And it's just a free seminar, then it just keeps ranging in higher and higher prices and bigger promises, and the people who spent this much money were completely defrauded of it. Now, he has his day in court, and I'm the kind of person who is not inclined to say someone is guilty until they're convicted. But what I am saying is that this Trump University did not make out on any of the promises that it made, much like any other of these for-profit universities.
So, Mr. Lamont, let me ask you this: if we were to talk about fairness, if Barack Hussein Obama had any of these discretions when he was running for office, he would have never made it to this level. So, and Pastor Riggins brings up excellent points. Not only is this guy a fraud, but he's fuel to the fire. Nikki Bedrick, come on in, Nikki. What do you think about this Trump University, and how does this affect the overall view coming from Scotland, all of those other places where a lot of these immigrants are coming from, and this guy's talking about being, I thought the president, a minister, and all of those who have titles were supposed to be outstanding or upstanding. Trump is far away from outstanding or upstanding in my viewpoint. Nikki Bedrick, come on in.
Oh, Baron, I was listening to Pastor Riggins, and again, nothing much to add. And his outrage, again, I was doing some research on it today. There's one young woman, she ended up spending $60,000, browbeaten, into the next course. She has a lawsuit, or she's one of the class action lawsuit against Trump. Trump has actually threatened to sue her personally, as well as her attorneys, and she sought court protection from further retaliation from him. Now, this is one of the defendant. This is one of the young women in the case. I read another case for a young couple, family, and they were actually, the whole thing is they call it, it's a scam, and they were now suggested the next course, which would have taken them up to $35,000, and one of the instructors, not the instructors, the admitting people, really tried to caution them against it because they knew it would be a financial ruin for them. He is one who's now come forward and speaking against it, although he was employed by it, and he was admonished and for telling these people to not spend this money. They lost everything. Mm-hmm. There's a little story. It's real personal. I'm in Las Vegas and I have a business, and I got an opportunity about 8-9 years ago to do something in Trump Tower. I was new in business and very careful. Sometimes it takes a long time to get paid from the hotels in Las Vegas, and I was starting up. Did a little bit of research, found out from the people that were turning over the job that he didn't pay his bills. Okay, refused it, would have been great for the resume, couldn't afford it, refused it. A couple of young guys who started business took the job, and it was decorating floral in his Trump Tower here. Now, when you do that, you've got to find money every week. Okay, so the first month comes, they don't get paid. The second month comes, they don't get paid. 5 months later, now they can't stop, and they've got to spend money every week to put in, otherwise lose the job. It was the beginning of their bankruptcy, okay? he ended up, that Trump Tower ended up owing them something like $35,000.
Wow.
Never could recover. They were basically just told to go to hell.
Mm-hmm.
No recourse, no nothing. And it was the beginning and end of these young boys that put everything into their business, going out of business. So Trump, I mean, you know, Trump is a despicable, immoral man. And, you know, I heard him at one of his rallies tell people, I'm going to give you everything. Like he's a big daddy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you everything. And they're cheering. It's beyond comprehension. He's a bad man, and I agree with Pastor Riggins and you, Baron.
Mm-hmm.
Man gets his hand near the button. It's mayhem.
Right.
Mayhem. There's so many volatile areas of the world, all waiting. You know, that need a calming, not an explosive character like him. And I really believe we could end up with the apocalypse with him.
Right, and Pastor, I'm going to jump over a little. I'm going to mention this, and then I'm going to come back. We got Ontario Cameron out there, I believe, from Little Rock, Arkansas. So I'm going to bring Ontario in. But let me make this comment, Pastor. You remember back? You remember the name Pastor Jeremiah Wright, correct, Pastor? Okay, this guy.
Yes, sir. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going. I'm just going to preface it a little. You remember Jeremiah was supposedly whatever you want to call it. He was the one who actually supported Barack. But let's look at Kim, whatever his name is, from South Korea. Look at what this guy said. So I'm not going to spoil it, Pastor. Let me bring Ontario Cameron in. Ontario, are you out there tonight?
Yes, I am, Barry. How you doing?
Hey, long time no see. Anytime you come on, we always want to hear your voice. Ontario, we're talking tonight about Donald Trump is a fraud. We're asking, are we headed towards the book of Revelation with all these things that are coming on? And at some point, Pastor Riggins is going to discuss that. We're also saying no to Trump. How do you feel about this Trump University deal that's going on, and how does that reflect how others look at us as individuals throughout the world?
Well, I think, your character to me is everything to who a man is. And I think that when you see somebody who deals irresponsibly and they have bad character, then they tell you the kind of leadership that you're going to get. And if we want the kind of leadership that's going to take us, into the future, then Donald Trump is just simply not the one, because he's going to take us into a war. You know, you can listen to the rhetoric that he talked, like the banning of all Muslims. And, I made that point once before that. You can't ban Muslims from coming to this country with not banning Americans from going to theirs. So I think that he's just not the right guy, and whatever he's done, I don't know much about his thing at the university, but I have heard it in the news, and I just say that this is a man that you can look at his character and tell he's dishonest, and that just should not be the kind of leadership that anybody wants. And I think that a lot of people out there, and I don't think that all of them, but I think a lot of people are supporting him because they believe in this ideology of supremacy. Mm-hmm. And there's still a whole lot of America out there that, white America out there, that believes in that principle, but not all of them. Mm-hmm. A great deal of them. And I think this is the way that they're flexing their power and showing that we are still the dominant one in this country. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we stand. That's an absolute truth. This is more about showing y'all believe in black power and got Barack in. Now we're going to show you this is white power. We can get who we want in, regardless of how racist he come over.
Well, I tell you, Riggins, I'm going to bring it back to you, because this Ontario from Little Rock, Arkansas, is preaching. Come on, Pastor Riggins. Come on with your next segment.
Yes, sir. But he's telling the truth, and I go into the next segment. As you mentioned, Jeff, if Barack Obama would have not made the speech on race after Jeremiah Wright said the stuff he said, they would not have let him have the nomination. And he just was attending that church casually. He didn't really belong to the church, because he wasn't even going to church like he needed to, because he had attended it casually. And knew the pastor, and Jeremiah Wright was just speaking truth to power, but saying it in a way that was offensive to white America. And they were trying to take Barack Obama's nomination from him based on that. And here Donald Trump spews out racism, all kind of stuff all the time, and no one is standing there to stop him. And that is beyond the pale for me.
So Pastor, are you saying? Once again, based on what many believe from all different spectrums of this country and the world, are you saying that it still proves that there are two sets of rules for everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. There's a parallel universe. There's what you call what's the word I'm looking for? When there was someone you're going to treat somebody one way and treat another person another way. There's a certain terminology for that I'm looking for. I can't find it right now in my mind.
Yeah, the spirit will bring it to you, Pastor. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah, David Lamont might know what I'm trying to say. Whenever there's two sets of rules,
alternate.
Not alternate. It's another.
Yeah.
But it'll come to me what I'm trying to say. Whenever you give someone one set of rules, but then somebody else has to try harder to try to get the same thing done, or
preference.
Double standards. That's right. There's a double standard.
Okay.
I knew you'd come out with it, Dave. There's double standards out there. Yeah, I knew Dave would help me out on that. Double standard. There's a double standard being set here because the standards are set for even the standard set for Secretary Clinton is different than the standard for Trump. Because number one, she has a leaked her as a woman, and number two, she's been under scrutiny of media for 30 years. She's been under scrutiny of media for 30 years, so that's why when she made her speech today, she said the stuff that y'all hear Donald Trump saying, he didn't say this year. He said he started saying this stuff in 1987. He said when Reagan was president, he was saying America is sorry, the world is laughing at us, we're no good, 1987. He's still saying it now, even if Barack Obama is president. So his whole ideal is more like Hitler. I'm going to bring that word in. Hitler's whole thing to Germany was, you're no good unless I'm in control. Because remember, World War I, Germany started World War I and then owed all this money to the rest of the world, and Hitler was sitting in jail. When Hitler got out of jail, he said to Germany, the only way he's going to become the world power he needs to be and make Germany great again is that I've got to be the leader. And Trump said the same mentality. When Reagan was president of the United States, he said America was sorry. Now, when President Barack Obama was president of the United States, America's sorry. But he said, I want to be like Reagan. Wait a minute, you thought Reagan was sorry? So why you want to be like Reagan? It's all about Trump and Trump only. And when you got a person like that, we're on dangerous ground because it's not about America, it's about him. What he wants to do and who he wants to be. And that brings me to what he did about the vets. Let me explain something to you. It's something, and I say that as just a matter of speech, not that y'all don't understand what I'm about to say. When he was about to go to that Fox debate, he did not want to face Megyn Kelly again. And so he says, you know what, I'm not going to debate tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go have my own event. And they said, well then, if you're going to have your own event, how are you going to make it worthy, newsworthy? How are you going to make, I'm going to raise something for charity. But how are you going to raise, I'm going to raise something for the veterans. Wait a minute. First of all, you already said that any veteran that had been in POW, like John McCain, wasn't a good veteran anyway. And also, we understand what he said that during Vietnam War, while everybody was fighting, he said, you know what, I was having more trouble chasing women than the men out there fighting. Come on. During Vietnam War, he was bragging about how many skirts he was getting instead of going to fight. On that, okay? So then he has this big event. We raised $6 million. First of all, if you're a $10 billion man, $6 million is nothing. We raised $6 million. No money. We raised $6 million. No money. We raised $6 million. No money. Here we are about 4 or 5 months later, and an ABC reporter and a CNN reporter and one other reporter pressed him so hard and put him into a corner until one day he wrote out $1 million check to try to get him off his back. They said, okay, that's your $1 million check. What other $5 million at? So then he had to come out and then he had to go start pushing buttons and saying, we got to raise this $5 million before Monday, before Memorial Day. And that's what he did. He went out there and started raising $5 million. And to try to make it look right, he says, I want to go with Rolling Thunder on Sunday because the Rolling Thunder rolls on that Sunday for Memorial Day. So he got out there Rolling Thunder, and he had about 20,000 people showed up. And he came out, I think I'm better than Martin Luther King Jr. Why didn't 250,000 people show up? No. I'm my voice goes high, I'm getting up into it. How in the heck, I'm going to keep it clean, how in the heck you think that you're Martin Luther King Jr. when first of all, it's not even relevant in what you're doing, and number two, you have not yet been locked up, shed any blood, been hit in the head, been stabbed, working for any cause or any justice for anybody, but you think somebody going to show up when you ride on a motorcycle and say you like Martin Luther King Jr. because you want to help out the veterans whom you say you didn't even like at the beginning. So when that news conference came on Monday, he made it not be about what he hadn't done. He made it be about the reporters of sleazebags. However, at the same time, anytime that you want to be heard, you dial the numbers, they're going to put you on there so their ratings go up for these sleazebags, the reporters of sleazebags. Anytime you want to be seen, you're going to show up anywhere and just put yourself on TV so you can be seen and heard, and the people take you for the ratings to go up, but you say they're sleazebags. This man cannot imagine him being president of the United States. We wouldn't know. You can watch any movie of any terror or any horror or the day after tomorrow or all that kind of stuff, the last day of the world, and that's how we're going to be living. We're going to be living from minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day, not knowing what's going to happen next because he's going to be erratic. He doesn't have the temperament, and the media, he's going to shut down the media, which is constitutional right, and it's going to be similar to any dictator, which is my next segment that he likes anyway. I'll let y'all come in.
Come on in, Dave Lamont, and I'm gonna bring Dave in, then I'm gonna bring Nikki in, then I'm gonna bring Ontario in. If there's anybody else that's out there, because Pastor, what I want to do is give you the opportunity to go through, and then let Dave kick in, and kind of balance all this thing out like we've been doing. Go ahead on, Dave Lamont.
So, yeah, I think the key thing that was hit was I linked a video in the chat that talked about a theory concerning how Donald Trump is running this campaign. It's one that I subscribe to and feel that it is very close to reality, if not right on the button. Donald Trump is playing the presidency, this whole campaign, as a reality show. And he is acting like a reality show character within this. So what that means is when attention is drawn away from you, you do something in the news cycle to set it off and have everybody point back. Recently, this endorsement this kind of endorsement from North Korea and some other revelations about the veterans contributions that he supposedly made. What was interesting about that is rather than try to defend his position, he attacked the media, and now the media is reacting like the hurt children, and they're not talking about the actual story. So he turned the news cycle in on itself and made it his own again. And this is what he does time after time. When Jeb Bush was running, he started calling Jeb Bush names.
Right.
And the media responded to that because it was the lowest common denominator. People like Jerry Springer. They like chairs being thrown. And Donald Trump knows what chair to pick up and who to throw it at.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Basically, that's what we're looking at. He is someone who is trying to... It doesn't matter what his policy is. It doesn't matter what he says. If he can make the press talk about him, that's the check mark that he wants to do. Because he can be the villain in the reality show, or he could be the good guy. It doesn't matter. It's the person who gets attention. That's what he's trying to do.
Dave Lamont, you always follow up very well behind Pastor Riggins, and I want to let everybody know that we have some good, balanced individuals that are here tonight. A.F. Riggins, Dave Lamont, Nikki, it's on you, and then I'm going to take it to Ontario.
I just want to add one thing about the veterans, and then I want to come back to what Ontario and Pastor Riggins said. Between 2009 and 2013, Trump's nonprofit donated total of $57,000 to Veterans Group. So over 4 years, he gave them $57,000. He donated $350,000 to Clinton's foundation, which was kind of interesting. But he had no interest. I mean, that was a scam. That was to, as Dave said, to take the attention. I love it, Dave. Kim Kardashian has proved that over and over and over and over again. The more outrageous her behavior is, the more she stays in focus, and she's made an awful lot of money doing it. I want to come back to what Pastor Riggins said, and he brought to Hitler. And what Hitler did, Pastor, was play the age-old historical prejudice against the Jew. Okay? Hitler in his Germany united his people not only because of the The condition they were left in after two wars, and they had no pride, and the country was in tatters, and after the First World War, the other European countries were really punitive and hard towards Germany, and they had no national pride. Hitler's first action was to scapegoat the Jews. In Europe, there's been a 2,000-year historical prejudice, and always the Jews could always be scapegoated. It's exactly what Donald Trump is doing right now, doing the race, the flexing of the muscles of the white supremacists. Now, Hitler not only did the Jews, they were the other. He did the gypsies. He did the Poles. He created this idea of the Aryan race, which is still suffering from in America today, the white Aryan race. That this was white supremacists against white. You know, we're whiter than you, and we are more powerful than you. And, I mean, he systematically went through, but his unifying that country was his prejudice towards the Jew. And he was able to annihilate 6 million of them with the complicity of the other countries and the people who also shared that DNA prejudice. So that's how Hitler united his country to begin with. And I believe that Donald Trump's playing I think he's tapping into the DNA racism that as Angerio said, not all of them, but a great part of white America has. And that's what he's touching, and that's what's falling on. And I believe that wholeheartedly.
Angerio Cameron, talk to me.
Yes, I think she's absolutely right. And Dave, there's an old saying that I always believe, and that is, if you can't dazzle them with brilliancy, you baffle them with BS. And this is exactly what Donald Trump is doing. He's actually used the Republican Party, the fact that they're so desperate to be in the White House, he's actually used that to his advantage, because they're willing to reconcile with him and forego their values if they have any, which they all say that they do, but I don't see how you can have values and follow this guy. But because they're so desperate to get into power, they're willing to rally around him. And a lot of these donations that he's getting from a lot of these supremacist-type thinking people who have a great deal of money to support him from behind the scenes. These people give money to other people to give to him to disconnect it from coming from them, so that he can't claim he got this from these secular groups like that. Mm-hmm. But that's what he's doing, basically. He's basically just dazzling the people, and he's playing the news media exactly like she said. That's what's going on.
Right. And I'll tell you, Pastor Riggins, I mean, the delivery and all the follow-ups are specifically doing what we set out. We're not talking about our own personal information, so to speak. We're talking about personal things that people have actually chosen to overlook, and they're overlooking it simply for one reason and one reason only, in my opinion, which we won't go off into that. Pastor Riggins, we're going to go it on. We've been talking tonight about Donald Trump as a fraud. We've talked about Trump University. We've talked about Trump and the veteran scam. Now, Pastor Riggins, tie us into the North Korean dictator endorsement and how that relates, in your opinion. Now, we respect Lamont being a non-believer, because we all respect it. But Pastor, irregardless to that, tie us into how we can look at this going from the natural to the spirit when it talks about the book of Revelation, how we can be, I guess, bamboozled by the so-called or the actual mark of the beast. Pastor A.F. Riggins.
Thank you, sir. And I want to say something. I'm going to add to what Dave was saying before I go any further, because Dave always brings up good points.
Right.
He was talking about how he's making a reality show, right? The reason why Donald Trump can make it a reality show is because what we talk about all the time, the apathetic and the cynical attitude of the voters. These voters don't really be involved and really, that's the reason why you have the SmokingGlassHour.com, because you want folks to be involved in the community. You want folks to go out and vote. You want folks to get involved in politics. When people do not do that, and they look at politics as a Jerry Springer show, as a Maury Povich show, as a harassment match, when they look at it that way and don't really get involved, Donald Trump has appealed to that lowest common denominator, so that they're not informed. And that's why you're doing this, so we can be informed and folk can be informed. So they want won't be bamboozled, like you say, by him.
Correct.
I'm going to throw that in.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal. I said this a few weeks ago. This is why it comes into what I said biblical portion. A few weeks ago on Facebook, I posted, what does Donald Trump and Dennis Rodman have in common? And then it was the Kim Jong-un, the leader of Korea, and Donald Trump. One of his best friends is Dennis Rodman. One of that guy's best friend is Dennis Rodman. And I was saying that if he happens to become president of the United States, we'll see that he wants, they'll become friends. And sure enough, a few weeks later, Donald Trump started saying that he would like to go talk with this guy. Now, of course, everybody got mad when President Barack Obama said he wanted to sit down with the leader of Iran and try to figure out how to get a nuclear deal. And Iran not even trying to aim at us. Iran just be trying to aim at Israel, and that's another whole subject, another whole 5-hour show. Mm-hmm. But Kim Jong, whatever his name is, how we say it, is trying to hit us with missiles in Hawaii if he can get it there. He's trying first to hit South Korea, then he wants to hit Japan, then he wants to hit us. Donald Trump sits there and says, you know what, why don't we just give nuclear missiles to Japan, let's give us some to South Korea. Then yesterday going to talk about, they said I said this, I never said this. And they got him repeatedly. He said they interviewed him on 2 or 3 different shows and he said he wanted to do it. But now everybody's saying he's stupid for saying it. He going to say he didn't say it. But anyway, so lo and behold, this week, guess what Kim Jong, whatever his name is, y'all can get it right for me. The leader of North Korea says he endorses Donald Trump. And immediately I told Mr. Barron Glass, I said, look here, we headed for the book of Revelation. Let me tell you why. Because we're going to end up in a situation where we're in World War III. And as Nikki put it, apocalypse. And the Revelation, the 13th chapter, and this is not, if anyone is not religious, I'm not trying to be offensive, but I'm trying to use my point of reference for how I see things happening. In the 11th verse, the second beast was coming out of the earth. Had 2 horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. And so I believe the first beast was Rome, and the second beast was the United States. And because he said that he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and those that dwell in it to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. What is the first beast? Rome had the Roman Catholic Church. Rome had the symbol of an eagle. Rome had set up a type of leadership similar to democracies like Greece in some ways, with senators. Remember the senators? They're the one, some of them was the one that killed Julius Caesar. So we look at some of that, the way it's set up. America's set up in some ways like that. Matter of fact, bicameral, meaning 2 houses, House of Representatives and Senate is a Latin word for 2 houses.
Come on, Pastor.
So we're taking on the spirit of what Rome was, the second beast. And he does great wonders. He makes fire come down from heaven on earth in sight of all men. What's fire? Missiles, nuclear bombs. We bombed Japan, Hiroshima, and Nagasaki. We have nuclear weapons. And he deceived them that dwell on earth by means of those miracles which the power to do in sight of the beast, said that all that dwell on earth, he should make an image to the beast, and they had a wound by the sword and did live. They said we should be able to worship the ideal of what I would say the great eagle is, the bald eagle, and which is also eagle is the symbol of Rome. Watch this. And he had power to give life to the image of the beast, and the image of the beast should both speak and cause the men that would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Cause all, both small, great, rich, and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. What's that mark? I believe that mark being our currency, our economy, the almighty dollar. And see, Trump is running on one thing. That one thing is this. That I got money. That's why he does the things he do, because he doesn't speak to anyone, because he feels like he's not obligated anyone. He don't have to show us his tax. He don't have to show us whether he has the money or not. He said he has the money. And no man may buy or sell, save he have that mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. If Trump causes the economy to crash, which Mark Cuban says that the stock market will crash on the day after he's elected, Mark Cuban, one of his friends, we're going to the Great Depression, and Trump does not want to pay our debt, but yet devise a way in which that we have to, America has a mark in which folk have to go through the mark of the beast. He said, let this be understanding. The number of the beast is the number of a man, and that number is 666. What do you mean, Pastor? When you look through the numbers in the Bible, 1 meaning number for God, 2 meaning that's come in agreement, 3 number of confirmation, 4 meaning the earth, meaning you have 4 seasons, you have 4 winds, 5 is the number of grace. That's why Jesus' name has five letters in it. Each one of the letters means something different. 6 is the number of man. 6 is the number of man, and 666 is the 3 times the number of man, which means I believe that we're looking at a man that's going to cause destruction to the world, and if we elect Donald Trump as president of the United States, he could be the man with 666. Now, that's just me talking, but I don't even want to find out if I'm true or right. I'm not. I just don't want him to get in the White House.
Oh man, Riggins. Let me take this one to Nikki right quick. Nikki Bedrick. I'm gonna go to Nikki, then I'm gonna go to Ontario, then I'm gonna come back over to Dave Lamont, and then we're gonna open up this thing and discuss it. Go ahead on, Nikki. Nikki, are you out there?
Yes, I am. Let me take me off the news, Baron.
Okay.
Wow, faster. I am not in any way as deeply familiar with the Book of Revelations as Pastor is educating me right now, but I do believe Rome was the God. I mean, there was the 666 was Nero, and I mean the way I look at it, what's happened to us, we have all the technological might to destroy mankind as it exists. I know the promise in Revelation is we'll have a time after that when we'll have the kingdom of God on earth. But when I look at the world, and I look at the African continent and the post-colonial civil war and strife that's all over the continent, I look at the Middle East in flames, and you're right, Pastor. Israel is a five-hour show all in itself, and there's these places in the world that are all so volatile. And really, when I look back, Korea exists, North and South Korea exist, because after the Second World War, Russia was in the north, America was in the south. They drew a line right through the middle of the country, divided the country, divided the people, and that's the cause of the strife today. Okay, it's happened all over the Middle East. It's happened in Pakistan and Afghanistan. After the First World War, the Second World War, they went in and drew the line. The British went in and drew the line right through Pashtun lands. People had lived on those lands forever. Beginning of the strife in that area. I mean, I see us as really agents of destruction. Now, we never go into anywhere unless we're in for avariciousness and greed. We call like the killing of 500,000 people in Iraq collateral damage. I mean, we need a peacemaker. We do not need a Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, the reason that North Korea has endorsed him is because he said unless South Korea starts paying for its own defense, he'll pull American troops on. China has a vested interest in that area. Japan has a vested interest. He'll upset the balances. It may not be us that go to war with North Korea, but North Korea is volatile. It's nuclear. Same thing in Israel. Okay, I think President Barack Obama did the most amazing job with Iran. And they have a very, very, very intelligent president, and he did and he brought some kind of status quo and some kind of peace to that area. Donald Trump will go in and upthrow the apple cart everywhere. His response to anything is denial and belligerence. He's a belligerent man. It's all about him. I really see. I believe if he gets in, our cities will go up in flames, and I believe that our world may very well go up in flames with him in there too.
Ontario Cameron.
Yes, I'm a firm believer that if you build it, they will come. And Donald Trump is kind of the living example of that. When you look at the fact that we built the bombs, we built the nuclear weapons, and all of these things, it was just a matter of time before, life was going to produce that one person that's willing to push it to see exactly what it would do. And Donald Trump is exactly that guy. We have to be really, really careful with what he's doing, because if you pull the troops out of North Korea or South Korea, North Korea get attacked. That's going to draw so many other nations into this war. We'll be drawn into it by virtue of that instability in protecting our interest in that part of the world. So this is what I think that Hillary Clinton is talking about when she says he clearly don't get, or either he don't care. I think he doesn't get it, though. The danger that creates. And that's why I think Kim Jong-il, or whatever his name is condoning that. That's why he's endorsing Donald Trump, because this plays right into his hand in his sequence of power. But none of those people at the top like that know the outcome and the consequences. They're completely blind but willing to do it. It's that thirst for power, that hunger for dominance. We experienced it right here in our country. Right now, those who are supporting him, who are supporting him for that reason I was talking about, it's all about that dominance. Well, this is on a broader scale now, and it's a much more dangerous scale now. And I just hope and pray with all my heart that we'll rise up against this, and that whoever the Democratic nominee is will ultimately be the leader of this nation, because this is such a dangerous, dangerous man. And all of your colleagues who have come in on this have been exactly 100% right. There is nobody wrong in this here, man. All of them have given such extraordinary comments that are relevant to the truth.
Right. I'll tell you, Angerio, you said exactly what I was going to say, and I did this, Pastor Riggins, for a reason, because I know what side of the fence Dave Lamont comes in, but he can always come in and be the cleanup batter and hit a home run. Dave Lamont, I'm going to bring you in, and then whatever it is that you wanted to add to the segment, I'm going to go ahead and let you do that. Then we're just going to have this big old round table discussion. We're going to open up the lines and let everybody talk. Dave Lamont, come on in and talk about your position with regards to are we headed toward the book, which some believe, some don't, but give us your account as to how you feel about that situation, Dave.
Well, I'm going to say the same thing that I said pretty much from the beginning. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump has no record to run on. He is nothing but smoke and mirrors. He has no credibility, no record. He's been proven a liar. He's getting endorsed, or at least given a pass by groups that are, to be kind would be to use the word nefarious and evil. Although Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, didn't directly endorse him, the state-run newspaper said that they liked some of his ideas, and, well, they're a dictatorship, so, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree when it comes to that. So that's why everyone's saying that he's been endorsed by North Korea. Mm-hmm. So, when you add all of these things together, even if Trump said some things that I like. I want to get out of these bad trade deals, but I can't believe him. How can I believe him? He's lied about his wealth. He's lied about his university. He's been dishonest about his own political dealings. I mean, it was pointed out that he gave heavily to the Clinton Foundation. Donald Trump is probably not even a billionaire. So how can, even if there's something I like, how can I honestly follow or vote for somebody like that? It's what we've all said. He's a fraud. He's a fraud in every definition of it. If Hillary Clinton said half of the things that he did, she would be strung up and whipped naked through the streets. You want Book of Revelation? Yeah, I understand that. I do read the Bible, even though I'm not religious. And, I can see the parallels, but I kind of think of Trump more like Berlusconi, who was the Italian prime minister. He owned all the media in Italy, and he's a lot like that man. And I encourage people to look up Prime Minister Berlusconi to see what a Donald Trump in office would look like.
Right. Well, David, again, you always balance, this conversation. Now, Dave, I know we talked through conversation and out there on the media. Was there anything else that you wanted to add in tonight from your own standpoint? Because if so, go ahead on. If not, we're going to open this line up and we're going to see which angle we're going to go, and we're going to let everybody join in and add, because tonight the goal is to prove why there should be a no to the Trump name. Go ahead on, Dave.
All right, certainly. Let's talk about Donald Trump's belief in conspiracy theories. There have been upwards of 58 different types of conspiracy theories that he has kind of either greatly endorsed or at least partially lended credit to. Birtherism. Donald Trump is probably second only to Orly Tate in birtherism. Where are those investigators? What happened to all of that, Donald Trump? Why aren't you releasing that data? You had so much interesting stuff. Or was it crap like we all know? He's alluded to the idea that Bill Ayers wrote Dreams from My Father, the book that Barack Obama wrote. He's said that a Hawaiian official was murdered in the birth certificate cover-up. He's alluded that Obama wears a Muslim wedding ring for a male lover. This is a story that was started by Jerome Corsi, who was one of the guys behind the Swift book and a pathological liar. He said that Obama never attended Columbia, offered $50 million to a charity for Obama to release the records of his college. Well, how about you release your taxes, Donald Trump? Obama may start a war to win a re-election. He thought that Obama was going to war, the whole wag the dog situation. He thinks that Obama's personally after him with the Trump University scandal. He thinks that Obama targets conservative websites, the whole IRS scandal that turned out to be nothing. I could go on. There's 58 of these things.
Right.
How can you...
What about John F. Kennedy?
Oh, yeah. He thinks that Ted Cruz's father assassinated, or at least assisted in the assassination of JFK. Ted Cruz's father. He thought that Scalia was murdered. He thought that Vince Foster, the most investigated suicide in U.S. history, he thought that Vince Foster was murdered by the Clintons.
And Dave, let me ask you this, Dave.
In New Jersey. Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this, and anybody else can jump in, because I'm trying to figure out, because I'm beginning to wonder why, and I'm beginning to question some people. If all of these people are supporting this guy, knowing that all of this is wrong, but saying, okay, it doesn't matter, we still want him in office. I mean, what does that say about your counterpart or your friend or somebody else that's out there when you present all of this information that you and Pastor Riggins, Nikki, and Ongerio has talked about tonight, and they still refuse to believe it? Now, they are speculating on former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, which none of this has been proven, but they're speculating on Trump. I mean, they know it's true on Trump, and they still just throwing it. How do you look at people like that, Dave, without judging?
Well, it's exactly what was said earlier. It's a double standard. Clinton is accused of things that she's not been prosecuted for. Donald Trump has admitted pretending to be his own publisher, and the media won't call him out on that. When Mitt Romney didn't release his tax records, the media was on him constantly. Even the Republicans in the last election cycle were held to a different standard than Trump. They do not want to do anything against Trump. I can't understand what the logic is behind that, because Hillary Clinton is a candidate the corporate media can get behind. So it's definitely not that. It's just they give Trump lives on a different standard than all of us, because if we did half of the things, we'd either be labeled crazy and put in a mental institution, or we'd be arrested because we committed a crime. That boggles my mind, but, it goes back to that video that I linked through where the guy talks about how Donald Trump takes over the media cycle, and the media plays into it. They've given him $2 billion in media attention, more than any other candidate, more than the top two candidates put together.
I mean, Nikki, do you have Nikki, Pastor Riggins, Ongerio, Aaron Hopkins? I mean, because I have friends that I've respected thus far, but now it's to the point where I'm losing a little respect, because when you present factual information, at some point, something should change. If you know it's wrong and you tell a person it's wrong and they continue to believe that it's right, then that's a fool to me. So, Nikki, I mean, go ahead.
I'm going to add one thing and I'm going to let them talk, let other people talk. The first thing is the greatest sin is pride. Mm-hmm. And a lot of Republicans right now are so proud, got too much pride to say that they dropped the ball on this. Because, see, this started by them telling President Barack Obama from day one, we're going to make sure you're a failure. When he did not fail, it created an atmosphere of the most racism that came out of everywhere. You know how we dealt with all these killings, the police killing the people in the streets and all that stuff. Racism was so bad and so great. Till Donald Trump went on this thing, we're going to make America great again, want our country back. People roll on that coattails, and now they don't know what to do. They got something, they bit off more than they can chew. They got something they can't handle. And the second thing I'm going to say is that even now on Morning Joe, Mika and Joe and them are saying, we can't believe Trump is doing all this crazy stuff. And so Joe is trying to say, well, maybe Trump doing it on purpose so he won't win. Like, now he didn't really think he'll get the nomination, and now that he's doing stupid stuff, he'll shoot himself in the foot because he's not ready to be president. No, they cannot believe their own eyes that they all fall into something that is beyond what they can control, and they got too much pride to say that they messed up. That's how I'm going to put it.
Well, Pastor, I'm looking at something right now where it said, Trump said, I never said Japan should have nukes. Now, CNN is going after him and saying that that's a 100% lie because he said that. Go ahead on. Let's open up the lines right quick. Do we have any callers out there? I know Paula may be out there who would love to join in. Paula, are you out there? Anybody else out there on the line who'd like to join in?
Yeah, I'm out here.
Okay, go ahead.
I posted something on Facebook in a response to a post. And in a way it was kind of tongue-in-cheek, but in a way it was almost a conspiracy theory, in that the Clintons made a deal. They've been friends with Trump for years and years. You know, they go way back, and Trump has contributed millions of dollars to Hillary's campaign. And there was a little tiny story about Bill and Trump going off together, and Bill saying, why don't you get into office? And my thought was, at the time, is that Trump said, okay, he would be so outrageous and he would be so crazy that the American electorate would have no choice but to elect Hillary Clinton. And I think what happened is this thing snowballed. I don't think anybody realized what was actually happening in the Republican Party until it was too late. They had created this monster, and now they have no idea what to do with him other than somehow handle him. Mm-hmm. He has no knowledge of foreign policy. He doesn't even know what the EPA is. He doesn't know anything about legislation. He has no political history. He is strictly a showman, but what he has brought out in this country, sadly, is the racism and the bigotry and the white supremacy and all of these things that are evil. And it's just gotten out of control.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't think that he will be elected president.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
Yeah. Paula, hold that thought. Dave Lamont, you heard what Paula was saying. You got anything that you'd like to add to that, Dave? Because I think she brings up a good point. The ball has started rolling, and now it has so much speed, nobody can stop it. Anybody can jump in. I'm calling Dave out, but Nikki, Pastor Riggins, Aaron, Ongerio, you guys just jump in because we got about 25 minutes left in the broadcast. So who want to jump in first?
Okay, I'll jump in because I think she is absolutely right. And I think that when you look at a guy like Donald Trump, what has happened is we live in a nation that has lost its civility. And when you lose your civility and your respect, decorum, even Satan's ideas can become appealing at that point. And I think that's what you're really seeing. You're seeing a nation that has been stripped for so long. There used to be a time when men in suits were respected, just because they had on suits. And I think that we went through so much crime from our politicians and so much dishonesty and distrust that it almost has appealed to people now. It doesn't matter who you put in there. And she's absolutely right. This has been going on a long time. Trump did not create this situation. He's just become another pawn in it. So it's just a bigger one, though. He's in a position to do a great deal of damage. But this has been going on a very long time from other past presidents. We saw this with George Bush in the war. Getting us into a war, lying about weapons of mass destruction and things like that. Well, a nation gets tired of hearing those lies. So there's nothing that Hillary could do when she's been seen in the media as though she's just as dishonest and another what they call, what do they call them politicians that, insider. Other insider. Right, and that's how people see her. So Donald Trump becomes a much more attractive offer because he represents a strength. He ain't afraid to say what he feels. And this is what America thinks strength is. It doesn't matter what the substance is. He ain't afraid to say it.
Wow, Ongerio, that's deep, brother. Go ahead.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, but that's what it is, and that's why I think a large section of America, I talked about that. I don't believe that all people who support him for the reasons of supremacy, but I think the ones that do support him that doesn't have a supremic ideology, they support him for that reason. They believe he has the nerve to say what's on his mind, and that's good enough for them.
But Ongerio, Farrakhan has the nerve to say, Sharpton has the nerve to say, Jackson has a nerve to say, Cornel West has a nerve, but when they say what's on their mind, they'll label something totally opposite of what Trump is labeled. Why the double standard?
Well, the double standard is black and white.
Mm-hmm.
The double standard is black and white. We still live in a very racist society where Trump has enough supporters to back up what he say and Farrakhan doesn't. He just doesn't have the large enough sector to back him up or the position of power to really speak from. One of the things I always say, what's the difference between power and wealth? Oprah Winfrey is wealthy, but she ain't powerful.
Come on, Ongerio, come on.
Right, Oprah Winfrey controls Oprah Winfrey controls $3 billion. But what's a man that controls $3 trillion? A man that controls, she can have $3 billion in her bank account, but somebody who controls $3 trillion has far more power than Oprah Winfrey has. You see, and that's the difference in this country. We live in a country where people want to control that purse string that carries $3-4 trillion, all the trillions of dollars that our government deal with. And Donald Trump is in that position. He has the supporters behind him to back him that's wealthy like that. Louis Farrakhan doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Not that many people contributing to his program that's that kind of wealthy. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump have millions of them, and they do wear them white sheets, and they are hidden behind. They do it in a way where it's not tied to it.
Okay.
Like that.
Boy, I tell you, I feel like we got a whole lot of ministers on here tonight from all different accounts. Dave Lamont, let me ask you this. There's a comment out there, Dave, I want you to address this, you and Pastor Riggins, because you guys have submitted to Hillary. The scariest thing that can happen in this election is that Donald Trump becomes president. The second scariest thing that can happen in this election is Hillary Clinton become president. A.F. Riggins, Dave Lamont. Dave Lamont, come in first and talk to me about that comment.
I can't disagree with that. I've said before, Hillary, there really is just one basic condition that would get me to vote for Hillary.
Uh-huh.
That's if my state is a toss-up state.
Uh-huh.
Because it would be voting against Trump, not voting for Clinton.
Uh-huh.
Every other situation, if my state heavily leans Republican or heavily leans Democrat, then I'm voting for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But, I can't argue with that. I thought that back in 2008 when Hillary Clinton ran the first time.
Okay.
Joe Biden, my guy, last time.
Okay. A.F. Riggins, I know you got something to say about this. Then I'm going to let Nikki come in. A.F. Riggins.
Well, y'all already know I'm a Hillary supporter, so I disagree with the statement, except for the fact that we know that everyone is flawed. So, even President Barack Obama, I don't agree with his stance with homosexuality and some other things, So everyone has some flaws. But Hillary Clinton, whatever her flaws are, she's a proven product. She's always been the same person all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump, he could change position 6 times in one day. He's never done anything close to politics, presidential, and even his own success. Like someone said, David Hunt said, you might not even have $1 billion. Don't know, because
right.
See, so we know everything the Clintons do through their foundation, through Whitewater, through them being broke, through them making money, to getting the speeches. We know everything about them.
But
so at least we know, like Mark Cuban say, it's the devil that we do know.
Pastor, let me ask you this then. How can this man go on for years and years and years claiming to be a billionaire and nobody contested and prove it? I mean, we can prove everything else wrong. We can prove that Barack was supposedly born here, Ted Cruz was supposedly born here, or whatever the case may be. I mean, why has Donald been given a pass?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Does anybody know the money that you have? First, does anybody really know what kind of money you have? Does anybody know the money that I have?
The Internal Revenue Service do.
Our lives, the Internal Revenue, right? But if the Internal Revenue Service was to out you on your business, you could then sue the government because that's your right to know. See, in other words, until they come now, if he doesn't become president of the United States, I believe he'll end up in a deal where the IRS is going to take him to court. See, right now, if they try to take him to court, they're going to say it's political. I think in the midst of this whole concept, if it's being audited every year, I bet they're going to end up taking him to court if he doesn't become president of the United States. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, there was I'm trying to find the reporter's name, but there was actually a lawsuit concerning something about his financial disclosures, and it was settled. It was basically settled, and the records were sealed. So there's a reporter out there that was doing a piece on this exact same thing, that Trump is overvaluing. Here it is. It's Timothy O'Brien. This is a man who actually got to legally see Trump's tax returns, but he is legally barred from mentioning it because O'Brien was sued by Trump for libel over a book that says his net worth was as low as 150 to 250 million. They settled, and the records were sealed. So he knows what's going on. But a lot of other people are equally committed to this investigation. For example, ABC News has figured out that there's a golf course that he has, it's a 147-acre private club bearing his name. It's a Trump golf course. He valued it on his financial disclosure to run for president of the United States at $50 million. When the state that it's in came to him and said, okay, here's the taxes for the $50 million golf course, he said, no, it's worth $1.3 million. So we've already seen this kind of shell game that he's playing, but nobody talks about this other thing. I not only do I think Trump doesn't have $10 billion, I don't think he has $1 billion. There's nothing to indicate. And in fact, there's a lot of evidence to indicate against that. For one thing, how he vigorously defended his television properties, like The Apprentice show. Someone who makes $400 million a year or whatever he claims that he's making is not going to protect a few $1 million a year in revenues from that. And he uses a trick to overinflate himself he basically throws out his expenditure. He says, I take in, $400 million this year. But he doesn't talk about his expenditure. He's got $100 million in loans from banks in Germany. No other presidential candidate, this is another thing not talked about, no presidential candidate in U.S. history has been in debt to a foreign entity. But Donald Trump is. Do you think that $100 million isn't going to be a political chip that Germany can use to get a good deal from us?
Dave Lamont.
Particular.
You just brought up some very interesting information, and you are exactly right. That poses a significant problem, in my opinion. I know Aaron Hopkins is out there, and he hadn't had a chance to come in. Aaron Hopkins, come on in.
Yes, sir. Man, I've enjoyed listening. I tell you what, here's the thing that sticks out to me in this whole situation. I like the point that Paula brought up about the seriousness of Trump even running for president, and then the spiraling out of control of what a lot of people first took as a joke. And, Barry, we talked about this probably 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now that it's reached this point, now people are, of course, aligning on the side that they think would be the victor. And one interesting thing, I think Dave might have mentioned it earlier, but Mitch McConnell recently has pretty much said that he's going to back Trump regardless of, the allegations, the scandals, and things like this. So I asked myself the question, what does the Republican Party stand to gain with a Trump as a nominee, even though in the beginning, another good point Dave Lamont mentioned, they stand to gain or remain in the seats that they currently have in the Senate. So if, a lot of them said that they would not back Trump, and now all of a sudden they're realizing he doesn't have any opposition in their party, so what is the only thing they really stand to benefit from? Because from my mind, if they're not embarrassed by what this man says on a daily basis,
right?
It's absolutely showing what they really are about.
And Aaron, you take me to my point that I asked earlier. I'm going to finish. Now I have to start questioning people who believe in these values, but prior to now they've talked totally against them. Go ahead on.
Exactly. So, again, giving credit to Dave Lamont, it was Dave that said probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago that a lot of the people in the Republican Party that said they would not back Trump, now all of a sudden you seem to fall right in line saying, well, here it is. It looks like he's going to be our nominee, and we're, we as a party, we'll back whoever our nominee is. So, in essence, I'm looking at, if this man is as arrogant as the entire world and country is able to see him as being, and this is who you don't feel the need to, speak against that kind of stance, then it's really not Donald Trump that we need to be worried about. It's the people who are backing Donald Trump.
Exactly.
Trump. In the beginning of the show, the people who are backing him are now showing what they really stand for, and not who they support, but what they support. So in theory, a Trump standing up arrogantly saying this about all these other countries, what he wants to do, build a... See, all of that stuff to me is just, it's not... It's serious, but what's more serious is the sentiment of those who would support that kind of mind. So if Trump was to step aside right now today, what we would be able to see is those who actually believe in the kind of mindset that he has, and then we would know what we're really dealing with. Well,
Aaron, again, I don't care who it is that we bring up first first, last, and a middle, whatever. Somebody is always validating what the previous person is saying. We got about 11 minutes left, so anybody that want to chime in, they may do so. Bring up your points, because tonight we're talking about no Trump. We're trying to seal a deal in this particular show. I know that we have, but just in case we hadn't, let's put another nail in the coffin. Nikki, Dave, Aaron, Pastor Riggins, Paula, anybody that's out there, you got about 11 minutes.
You know what Aaron just said. Good evening, Aaron. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, Nikki?
I'm good, Aaron. You?
I'm great.
Good. You know, the idea of who's backing them and who his supporters are and this type of thing, and it's vast. I mean, there are millions and millions of supporters he has, and I tend to think that if Trump is elected, the country gets exactly what the country's asking for. This is the will of the people. This is the will of the people, you know?
Right.
And I think the Republican MPs that said it, they obeyed. But there's, you know, where are consciences? Where is morality? Where are those things? And these are the people that are in power. You know, and it's you know, you asked the question earlier about what do you know, when you confront people that are going to support Trump, and I mean, and bright people. I mean, I'm not talking about uneducated people, and you get this kind of vague answer. You get this, well, you know, he's not afraid to take on people. He's not afraid to say what he thinks. Nobody can own him. Those are responses. Nobody looks, no matter kind of like what their station I've talked to that's supporting Trump, okay, will really get into any of the issues. There's this kind of vague idea that he'll figure it out as he goes along, you know? And I mean, the man has a mind like an emotional theme park. I mean, it's like Disneyland in there, you know? I mean, he can't hold two consistent thoughts. But that kind of saves him for this idea that he won't take crap from anyone, and he'll figure out in the end. And like the nitty gritty issues don't matter to them. It's like this blindness that's amazing. I mean, it's just really amazing. But then if you kind of probe those people a little bit bigger, there's this idea that America is the greatest country on earth. They don't question why we go into foreign countries. They don't question things. Those are the people that also don't recognize their white privilege. There's this apathy that is astounding. Like the you know, I call it it's the insularity of the American. You know, the rest of the world doesn't really exist. And the other thing I think with Trump is what do we prize? And Pastor Riggins has touched on this so often. You know, greed and pride and love of money. We may not know how much Trump has, but he flouts his mansions and he flouts his young women and he flouts his golf courses and we look at that and that's today that to us is a respectful man. This is what we respect. You know, it's really incredible. I mean, it's but he is the reality show. He's not in a reality show. He is it. You know.
Yeah.
It's astounding.
Yeah. Go ahead, Aaron.
Really?
Who is it? Is it Aaron or Ongerio?
Yeah, I was going to say she made a really good point when she said what has happened to the morals and the principles and the values and things like that. I think that's a great question because that's the point I was making. People will sell their morals, principles, and values for power. They'll sell them for power. And this is what this whole thing is about. It's about domination. I'm going to bring it right back. It's about domination in this country, control and domination of a people and of a power, a capitalistic state, a capitalistic empire. They want to control that capitalistic empire, those who support him that are doing it for suprematic ideology. Mm-hmm. That's what it's about. You know, and so they will compromise their morals. Some of those leaders she's talking about up there in the White House that are supporting him now, they're compromising their morals, principles, and values for that power. They believe that it's a possibility he just might win, and it may be enough of these people to put him in power. If they want to be on that ship when it sails, and so they're willing to spend, they're willing to compromise that.
That's very true. Dave Lamont and Riggins. Sanders jabs at Clinton foreign policy credentials following her speak, and here's what he says. I agree with Secretary Clinton that Donald Trump's foreign policy ideals are incredibly reckless and irresponsible. He also says, but when it comes to foreign policy, we cannot forget that Secretary Clinton voted for the war in Iraq, the worst foreign policy blunder in modern American history, and that she has been a proponent of regime change, as in Libya, without thinking through the consequences. Lamont, I'm going to let you close it out on that comment.
Well, I'm the last person to support Hillary Clinton's war hawk like attitude. I think she's reckless, but I think there's a good reason behind it. I think that she honestly feels that because she's a woman, she has to be a neocon when it comes to her foreign policy. I think that she believes that people will perceive her weaker because she would be the first female president in U.S. history. And I think it's a valid concern. I don't agree with it. I think she should run on the merits, but I don't actually think she believes in her foreign policy. I think she feels compelled to do it.
May I make one quick point on that?
Go ahead. We got about 3 minutes.
All right. I've been doing some research into Hillary Clinton, her activities when she was Secretary of State. And she did some heinous things in other countries that have brought about, regime changes which have caused unrest within the countries, dictatorship, taking down of democratically elected officials, causing murder, mayhem, kidnapping, people disappearing. I just posted an article today about a woman from Honduras that lived through that and is still living through that. And I don't think that Hillary Clinton is all that white and bright as many people believe she is.
I'll tell you, Belinda. I'm not Belinda. Go ahead. Was that Aaron or Angerio? Aaron, were you trying to come in?
No, sir, that wasn't me.
Okay. Well, we're looking at about 2 minutes left. Tonight, once again, we have been talking about Donald Trump is a fraud. We talked about Trump University, talked about Trump and veterans in the veteran scam. We talked about North Korean dictator endorsement, so to speak, endorsement. We talked about some other things from a spiritual standpoint. Are we headed toward the book of Revelation? But we also talked about, based on the climax of the conversation, say no to Trump by any means necessary. By any means necessary. We were joined tonight by Mr. Dave Lamont from Screens from the Center. Once again, I want you guys to check out Dave on Wednesday nights on Blab on his live video chat. You can talk to Dave. He does a wonderful job. As we know here, he's always very, very well balanced, and he brings a lot of substance. Also, Pastor A.F. Riggins, wrap it up live and real people, real life, real answers. We're going to get Pastor Riggins back. That's why he don't know I'm getting him geared up for this Glassology 101. I'm gradually skating him in. He know I always got a motive when I do something. We're trying to get Aaron Hopkins to do his own thing. Dave Lamont, Nikki, all of you guys. There's enough room at the cross for all of us, so to speak. So we are doing a wonderful job. Thanks to Paula for calling in and joining in the conversation. Everybody that's out there listening on the live link, whether they're listening on the www.thesmokingglasshour.com or if they're listening to by 773-897-6398. What I want to say is this. This election in November, whether you're a baby boomer or a millennial, is probably the most important election of your lifetime. as of right now. Because if you give a fool the keys to the nuclear bomb, nobody can make a prediction. If you give a baby an assignment that you should give an adult, you're going to automatically receive failure. There's no success. Because when you're given a task, you must be mature enough to accept that task before you can get a good outcome. We know based on what we have seen from Donald Trump, regardless as to how many people that are out there supporting him. Go out and vote, and we hope that you vote absolutely no to Donald Trump. You've been listening to the Smoking Glass Hour with Baron Glass tonight, joined by Aaron Hopkins, Nikki Bedrick, Dave Lamont, Aquila, Riggins, Miss Paula Stafford, Miss Belinda. I got all these names that I can't pronounce, but nevertheless, charge it to the head and not to heart. I'm going to say good night. Angerio, thanks for calling in, brother. We love the passion. Keep it up. Let us know when your next adventure going on, and please give us one of those poems the next time you come on. I'm going to say good night to everybody.
Good night,
Good night,
and
y'all.
no
Good night.
Trump.
All right.
God bless.
Thank you. All right.